Straight to my next guest, Adam Coleman. He's a columnist at the New York Post. Very good morning to you.
Good morning.
Oh, very early for you indeed. But I want to talk to you about these Epstein emails, this big tranche of emails. First of all, 3 emails that implicated Donald Trump. Initially, big denials from the White House press secretary, and then overnight, massive big tranche of documents and files being released from those Epstein files. First of all, is this all the Epstein files? And secondly, have we actually learned anything new?
So I'm trying to be as objective as possible when looking at this. One, I can recognize politically, anytime Donald Trump's name pops up next to Epstein, for any reason, it doesn't look good for him. So I can acknowledge that. Yeah. But just looking at the context of the emails, I don't know what most of this means. I don't know what they're implying. Much of it is in shorthand. It's not very detailed. It's implying stuff that we don't know of. So there's like missing context.
Yeah. So you'd have to put a whole string of emails together somehow to work out what it was all about. Right.
So for example, everyone's clinging on to Trump knew about the girls, but what exactly does that mean? Did Trump think that these girls were prostitutes of legal age, or did Trump know that they were underage? We don't know. What does that mean, knew about the girls? So like there are different things that we are either implying ourselves because we have our certain biases about them, or what, but there's just missing information here.
And also the avalanche of information makes it difficult to sift through, doesn't it? But there's initial claims that, that he had actually spent hours at Epstein's home with, and it was a redacted name of the girl. That was later revealed as being Virginia Giuffre, of course, the whistleblower on an awful lot of this, who sadly now has taken her own life, and her memoirs have caused a storm, and we've led to Prince Andrew no longer a prince or a duke as a result of those revelations. But she has written a public statement in the past, which has not seen retracted, and certainly wasn't retracted in her memoirs published posthumously, where she didn't accuse Donald Trump of anything, and basically said he'd always behaved with propriety towards her. So you've got to sort of wonder, how reasonable those claims are.
Yeah, exactly. Even in one of the emails where he claims he was never banned from Mar-a-Lago, yet even the New York Times and all these other publications verify and corroborate the story that he was banned from Mar-a-Lago. It was never seen in Mar-a-Lago ever since. Yeah. So the other part is Jeffrey Epstein lying in any of these emails? Because if we're reading it,
pedophile lying? No.
I know, shock, right? So we're presuming he is telling the truth throughout his exchanges with these different people.
Yeah, that's an important point, isn't it? I mean, one thing that it is noticeable is the Epstein email claiming that the photo of Prince Andrew, as he was then, with Virginia Giuffre was real. Now, that was, what kind of sparked a lot of the first allegations when Virginia Giuffre said she'd had sex as a 17-year-old, sex slave trafficked by Epstein and by Ghislaine Maxwell, that she'd been basically forced to have sex with Prince Andrew. He's always denied that. He's even denied meeting her. He said he's always claimed that he thinks that photograph is doctored. But I mean, I don't think anyone really thought that wasn't a real photograph, did they?
No, not at all. There's nothing about it that looked doctored. And even when he is trying to explain away, he sounds like a guilty person. So no one actually believed that.
But definitely not guilty. And he just paid £12 million to a woman who he'd never met, the way, I say, a lot of us will have obviously done over the years. Where does this go, though? Because there's no doubt at all, look, Donald Trump, who normally you can't shut him up at any press conference, he's announcing, this bill, to end the longest US government shutdown in modern history. And then he doesn't take any questions. Normally, you're literally going, seriously, Donald, that's enough now. He just refused to take any questions from the waiting media. That's a bit of a giveaway that he knows this is trouble for him.
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying. Politically, this doesn't look good. And to be fair, Trump has done less press in this administration, far less press this administration than previous. He's done press when it is obvious about what he's about to do, what he's about to say, and it makes him look good. So he's been very clear on that. He's not streaming into other territory. Yeah. But I can't help but notice the timing of all this. When the Democrats have been holding out for all this time for the shutdown to get the thing that they want, and magically these emails hit the press. Ta-da. So, I don't know. And especially, these are emails that have been around apparently in Democrat circles or at least in the federal government for quite some time.
Yeah.
The Biden administration, the FBI had access to all this, and just magically, when they needed it, it was there.
They suddenly appeared. And again, at the end of the day, we all talk about people playing politics with revelations about little, young girls' lives, young trafficked women's lives. Adam Coleman, columnist at the New York Post, thank you very much indeed for that. Henry Hill, bring you in. Again, we don't seem to have learned anything new. I expected to wake up this morning to some sort of massive big revelation about who'd been on Epstein's, paedophile island, but we haven't got anything yet.
No, I mean, there's a vast amount of documentation here, and it will take ages to get through. We might get them yet, but not so far.
I mean, we'll bring it to you first as soon as we get any, but I mean, the reality of this is playing politics, and everyone knows any link with Jeffrey Epstein is very damaging. But there's a lot of plague on all your houses for the voters, isn't there? A load of rich, very powerful men spend an awful lot of time with a man who, if you had any eyes and ears, you knew that he was basically trafficking young women, and you just basically turned a blind eye to it at best and took part at worst. No doubt we'll find out more as the days, the weeks, the months and the years can't pass.